Okay, so carrying straight on with our texturing, we've baked out our texture maps and we've got them all here. So because like Substance can work with UDIMs, it's still not maybe the fastest with UDIMs. So we're currently working on 4096 resolution here. So we kind of want to, for speed, I'm just going to reduce this down to 256. And this just means everything's going to work a lot faster because we're working at a super low resolution of textures. Oh, so we've got this list here. We'll just go through, and this is our project. It's got all our sort of maps that we've just baked out and any stuff that you want to bring in. Alphas. We will just go through those in a minute. And we've got our grunge maps. So it comes with a ton of stuff already. Procedurals, textures, that's a texture, hard surfaces, our normals, so we can print those on. Skin textures, filters, tons of brushes, particle sort of system things, tools, basic materials, these like starting materials, smart materials, which are like all-in-one sort of packages, smart masks, which we'll probably use quite a bit, environments, which is like our rendering environments, and color profiles, which probably won't touch too much. Cool, so I know that doesn't really explain much, but I just thought I'd talk through this just so you can see it. So we've got our layers here, and if you look here, you can see a paintbrush. We're currently on a paint layer. So we're just going to play around with some stuff. So let's just call this play. And if you just click on it, you can draw on it. And if you look at our UVs, we can also draw on that as well. So we ideally don't want to do it on that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to right click and add a paint layer under here. And what I'm going to do, it just keeps it all organized. So select an alpha, and basically you can guess what that's going to do. It's going to be like alpha of the paintbrush. And you can make arrows, and you can see it's pretty low res here, but if we went back to our texture settings and put it back on 4096, you can see the resolutions, it's way higher. It's just it's easier to work on this sort of resolution for now. So we can undo that. And you got tons of stuff. And you can change in your brush sets, you can change size. And the flow. So it kind of gives you a good idea of what's going on. Stroke opacity, spacing. This is a good idea of stuff. And yeah, so you've got all that sort of stuff. Have a little play with that. Like I said, the best thing with Substance Painter is just having a little go. You've got grunge maps, which we'll use sort of as our... You can use them as painting on, but we'll use them a little bit better, in a different way. Hard surfaces. So I forgot to mention that we can go down in where it's our brush. Well, you've got your brush tools here, the little squiggle. I don't know what it's called, the alpha, stencil, always forget what they're called, and material. So at the moment we're only on color. So we can just paint in color if we want. But we can also let's not get onto that yet. We need to select a brush. Did a little let's not worry about that for now. Alright, we'll get onto that. And you got these. Why is it not doing it? There we go. It's taking. It's a bit slow. Maybe I need to. And you can see now because I've. And like I said, let's just have a little play. I think mine's been really slow, so I'm going to have to really double click on it. And you got these sort of weird things that you can play around with. And you know, it's selected on here. It's actually now working. So you can change that, so that's minus, and then do another one. And it's sort of poking out. And you get some sort of weird effects. Let's try broken glass. Cool. So let's just put that back to 0. And you got materials. Let's go back to what there's. Oh, we've undid our. And you can click and drag stuff on. Just have a play, see what materials you got. And you'll notice that I've just clicked and dragged it onto there and it's not selected this. It's because we've got it in a different texture setup here. So whatever we put onto here is going to go on everything, and the same with this. It just makes it a little bit easier for masking. You can try human skin. Try some of these. Let's try this face. Oh, lovely. But yeah, you get the idea. And just have a little play around with it. And you got smart materials, which is a bit different. Let's get rid of these. And you'll notice that they actually stack as well. So we can click and drag this and put gold armor on it. And it has lots of different types. And you notice that it's kind of already got a lot of sort of scratches on it. And if we did bring this back up to 4096, it'd probably look a bit nicer. But you can see it's going to take a lot longer to load. And you can sort of see the resolution's much nicer. But you can see how slow it's going right now. I don't have the best computer. Put some military fabric on it. That's probably a good actually example for changing, so we'll be able to see quite good resolution on this if we get to 4096 again. So you don't want every time you're sort of adding a texture, you don't want this bar to load every time at the 4K resolution, because that it's just very sluggish and you'll just lose patience with it. But being able to see it, and you know it's going to be quite nice resolution. So it's always worth just working on the lower one. And you notice that they do sort of stack as well. So let's wait for that to go back to 2K. Wait for it to load. We've put creature tongue on it. Which looks nice. You can still see some of the fabric. Ooh. But yeah, so have a play of the materials. I'm just going to delete all my layers. I'm actually just going to start with our basic layer. So yeah, have a play around, throw things on. Like, you've got some pretty cool ones in there. If you can't really be bothered, you can just stick steel painted on there and it gives you a pretty cool look straight away. But anyone that's worked on VFX or used this before or also used Substance, you can spot these textures a mile away. So what we're going to do, we're going to make our own sort of textures. So I'm just going to go up the top here. And I'm going to select, not that, select create a fill layer. I'm just going to call this my base paint. Because it's a painted robot, and I'm going to add a fill. So that's right click, add fill. I'm just going to scroll down, and I'm not going to use any of these materials. I might use some masks, but I'm going to start with my uniform color, and you can sort of see so probably want to try and actually get some texture reference of the color. But you don't have to do it the exact color. Well, you kind of, if we're doing it for like a client, you probably would, but for this, we'll just, because we can change this. Cool. And we've just got a basic blue. And you know, so we've got all these selected. So we've got all of these on. We can turn our roughness and we can turn our metallic up. We've brought that all the way up. It kind of looked like a something off an 80s car from the 80s in America. So I don't even know that reference, really. I don't even know why I said that. It's very... So you can sort of see that we don't really want it a metallic paint, but if we leave it like this, it kind of looks a little bit plastic. And you can sort of see how the reflections are changing a little bit on it. So let's make it a little bit like painted metal. And I guess the next thing that I want to do is, let's just say this is absolutely perfectly painted. I'm going to add some roughness to the paint because it's just usually roughness on it, and it's only going to be our base layer anyway. So I'm just going to select here on our roughness, and it will come up with procedural texture. But I'm just going to type in, and you can have a look through grunges. If you hover over it, it should increase. And you can sort of look for one that you kind of like, that you want to use. So they've got different types, kind of like dripping stuff. So I don't want anything too crazy. I think maybe the muddy. Don't grunge concrete. So let's go with roughness. If I just start typing in grunge, we should get grunged up muddy. We only want something very subtle. And it's very hard. I don't know if you can see that, but if I rotate around, I can't remember what. See if I can remember it. I don't. There is a. I can't remember what it is, but you can rotate the HDRI, but you can sort of see that. I don't use Substance that often, but yeah, we see we've got a fairly nice effect, and it cuts like you can go back and just double check it on the 4, but the more you go backwards and forwards, the more it's going to sort of. You kind of have to trust it a bit, and you can sort of see that's got some really nice detail in it. And if we go to our Pure Ref, let's actually open that up. Probably should load this up first. Cool. So we can sort of see that he's not really that clean. For some reason I thought he was quite clean, but he's actually quite grubby. So that makes it more fun, especially here. Seems to be much dirtier in some other places. Cool, so that should make it a little bit more fun. I don't know why I really thought it was super clean, so I'm going to put this up here because it just seems like the only place that I can really put it and it not get in the way. Cool. So now we've got that, we can actually just go to our base uniform. Let's just get that a little bit And let's go back to our texture settings and change that to 256 so it's a little bit faster. You know what, I'm just going to try and match it. Like, we could probably color pick. It can be tricky because don't forget, like, also a lot of this color that's probably pushed onto this is from the back plate as well. So like the HDRI color pushing it to make it match in shot. We don't necessarily want it to exactly match this because it might throw us off, but we can get it pretty close. And I'm sure there's a standard O2 color. Cool, I'm going to go with something like that. So we're just going to start with the basic sort of material. And you can edit that. So if you want that to be a little bit more stronger, you can go up to your layers, right click and add a levels. And you can just choose if you want it to change what channel you want. So I'm going to change the roughness channel. And you can see how now that's changing it quite a lot. We can make it like super matte, which looks like a, you know, like rubber coated, I guess. But we don't really want that. It's quite, you can see it's quite shiny. So let's reset that and let's try and invert on it. Let's see what we get from inverting. To be honest, might just need to. So one of the other things that I need to do as well, you can't really see it very well maybe, but you can sort of see, you know how we had like seams. So you want to change your UV projection to triplanar. You can see that will remove all your seams. And we can change the scale on it a bit as well, sort of make it a bit more. So I'm just going to go to my, change it to 4096, just see what we're getting. Yeah, it's kind of like it's all over. It's not like too invasive, but yeah, so we've sort of done our very basic sort of basically our basic sort of paint. So I don't want to go into a much longer one. We'll just carry on in the next tutorial. And yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial. It's been very quick. And we've just gone through adding a base paint, some levels, and you can see how that's changing there. And it's down to sort of artistic look, how you want it, to be honest. We can see that we've got in the light, well, that's kind of, some of these lighting, we've got multiple lights here. I don't know if that's a choice or mistake, but who knows? Probably a client choice, but let's put that back to maybe on 512. 258 might be a bit low, but yeah. If you've enjoyed that tutorial, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.